Hazbin Hotel has a pretty big open secret in the form of Rue, a character who is believed to be the root of all evil. And she has eyes everywhere, not just in Hazbin Hotel, but even in Helluva Boss. From the very beginning, Hazbin finally acknowledged these eyes, and by extension, Rue herself, through a blink and you miss it moment in the episode Scream Rain, with the Queen of Evil seemingly taking an interest in angel dust. But why? That's what we're going to figure out today. In this video, not only do I want to lay out the basics of Rue and break down the first semblance of an interaction with her, but I also want to pitch in my own theories and her connections to Alastor and Vox, the threat she poses to Charlie in the hotel, and how she might be secretly playing the long game by using the hotel to invade heaven through the redeemed sinners. And before we get into it, if you end up enjoying the video, then please throw it a like and subscribe to the roundtable with notifications on so that you never miss a video. It really helps us out. So Rue is sort of the Gaster of Hazbin Hotel, a character shrouded in mystery that everyone assumes is going to be a pretty big deal. All we know about Rue for sure is that she exists. We have a design for her, and we know she'll probably appear by season 4 at the latest, as they recently recorded her lines for the first time. But that's it. We have nothing concrete about this character beyond those few surface level details. Yet plenty of fans are convinced that she's actually a mastermind of sorts. A force who's been working behind the scenes, pulling various strings and having ties to a plethora of characters, influencing their actions and ensuring that evil will triumph at the end of the day. Why though? How did people even come to the conclusion that she's the embodiment of evil? Well, there's actually two major hints found in their respective first episodes for Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss, not counting their pilots. In Hazbin's prologue, it stated that Lucifer giving Eve the fruit of knowledge enabled evil to infiltrate Earth, creating hell in the process. Evil is personified in this sequence with a jagged hand forming around the Earth, taking hold of it. The imagery of this hand feels very evocative of Rue's concept art from 2019. Specifically, the top black appendage protruding from her tongue. It feels intentional for a show like Hazbin to depict evil as a mysterious living force with the intention of expanding upon it later. It's also worth noting that after the hand of evil grabs the earth, the screen is also engulfed by the silhouette of tree branches, as the fruit Lucifer handed to Eve originated from the tree above them. At least, that's my assumption. But we'll come back to this in a little bit. Shifting gears over to Helluva Boss, we have its very first episode, Murder Family. Following the revelation that M's target, Martha, is actually a cannibalistic Satanist with a poor grasp of how hell actually works, she proceeds to set Blitzo and Millie on fire and name drops the root of all evil in a way that implies that her family worships the entity, once again personifying the concept as if it were a character.
May the root of evil remain honored as we continue thy work.
Hey, Martha's very obviously an occult, right? Especially with all these freaky eye symbols. That's so interesting, because didn't season 2 of Hazbin Hotel just establish that Vox was a cult leader when he was alive? Let's circle back to that. This video is sponsored by Raycon. Keep your ears open and your holiday playlist rolling with Raycon's bone conduction headphones. They're great for staying alert on the jog or just kicking back. And for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, you can save up to 30% on all Raycon audio products. Bone conduction is as badass as it sounds, using a neat trick called off-ear audio, which sends sound through vibration in your bones. Your ears stay open to the world around you while you enjoy crystal clear music, podcast, or phone calls. It's a great match for multitasking. I can rock out to my favorite songs while I'm on the move without having to tune out everything around me. These puppies are also built for all-day use, with 13 hours of battery life and it's IP68 waterproof and dustproof, which comes in handy for rain or even sandy beach runs. And the cherry on top, Raycon gives you premium performance without the premium price tag. Their quality rivals the big audio brands at half the cost. Over 3 million customers already love Raycon, and if you don't, no worries. They'll come with a 30-day happiness guarantee. I truly adore my Raycons. I use them every single day, and they've been reliable every step of the way. Black Friday is around the corner. Raycon audio products are up to 30% off site-wide. From everyday essentials to the latest releases, it's the perfect time to upgrade your sound or get ahead on gifting. These early deals won't last long. Shop now before they're gone. Just click the link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/tablebc to save Raycon audio products site-wide. Thank you, Raycon, for sponsoring this video. Now, it's hard not to connect the dots from here and come to the conclusion that if the root of all evil is a character, then they're probably going to be the terrifying and elusive woman that Vivzy Pop is tight-lipped about, whose name is one letter short of the word root. Rue is evil incarnate. If I had to guess, she actually might not be that different from the likes of Aku, you know, from Samurai Jack. Aku's a demon who was born from a black mass that was dubbed as the ultimate evil. Most of this mass was decimated by the gods, with a chunk crash landing on Earth and manifesting itself as one of the most iconic villains in animation. Ironically enough, from a tree-like formation. Aku, when he's not shapeshifting, is pretty much a living tree. Likewise, I believe Rue's origin is tied to the fruit of knowledge that Lucifer bestowed upon Eve, along with the tree that they met under. I don't think it's a coincidence that this tree, its roots, or the apples that rest on top of its leaves are all the same crimson color. A color that's identical to the red eyes in the prologue that's also peppered throughout the Helluverse. I think evil itself was confined to this tree and its fruit, presenting itself as forbidden knowledge that heaven wanted to keep away from mortals. And for some reason, Lucifer wasn't completely in the know about what this tree truly was either. Regardless, handing the fruit to Eve allowed evil to escape its cage and infiltrate Earth. I kinda wonder if this fruit took Eve as a vessel and transformed her into Rue. They both got 3-letter names that comprise of 2 letters, which could be a clever hint. And we have no idea what happened to Eve. But if she isn't Rue, a popular idea I've seen around is that she could have become Rosie, which at the moment I'm kind of 50-50 on. Still, something had to have happened to Eve after taking this fruit. Now let's talk about those damn eyes. How could they be tied to Rue? Rue's concept art has a ton of eyes on her tongue, which people have linked to the abundance of eyes found throughout both Helluverse shows, believing that Rue can peer through these eyes if she chooses. She is always watching. If this is the case, then I have a hunch that these wooden eye symbols Martha has are also meant to represent Rue and gives the demon the ability to peek into the surrounding area. This would mean that she operates on Bill's cipher rules. She can see through any depiction of an eye, just like how Bill can see through any depiction of himself. You know, a triangle with an eye. It's apparently been stated by Vivzy Pop on an old live stream that these eyes littered throughout hell are the souls of dead sinners after exterminations, as their bodies can no longer regenerate and they're unable to ascend to heaven. However, I don't think this dismisses the possibility that Rue has access to hell through these eyes, as they existed in hell before the exterminations even began. The prologue implies that they were there from the very beginning, before any sinner was slain at the hands of an angel, once again adding credence to the idea that they're tied to Rue and evil itself. I don't think that this piece of lore Viv shared all those years ago was outdated though, it just might have been a half-truth. Perhaps when a sinner's killed upon ascending, their soul gets assimilated into evil itself and reforms in hell as a brand new eye. What's interesting about these eyes is that, while they're all over the place, with a ton noticeably near the extermination clock, they tend to manifest in environments whenever characters are enduring extreme emotional distress. A great example of this is Alastor's radio tower. The eyes are nowhere to be seen when we first visit the tower and Radio killed the video star during Stayed Gone. But when Alastor returns here after getting his ass handed to him by Adam, suddenly we can spot plenty of eyes throughout the tower. The eyes can be found at the tail end of the scene where Valentino roughs up Angel Dust and Masquerade, albeit purple. They're found throughout the ruins of the hotel and the show must go on. And of course they're prominent in Scream Rain, when Vox attacks Angel Dust before revealing that he's had Angel Dust under his control for a while. The lack of lighting causes the eyes to illuminate in the darkness, and one eye in particular is shown following Angel Dust as he stumbles right into a trap, meaning that Rue wanted to see this moment play out. In general, these eyes manifesting during moments of despair tells me that Rue naturally feeds off negative emotions. But as for why she's following Angel Dust in particular, I think it has to do with what Charlie said back in Hazbin Hotel behind closed doors. Angel Dust is the closest to being redeemed, so he's a person of interest to Rue. She wants to see how this journey pans out for him. Why? Because the hotel can either be Rue's biggest threat or greatest advantage. If Rue truly is the root of all evil and feeds off the suffering of others, then obviously the hotel is bad news. Because if it succeeds, Hell's population would gradually shrink and her power would weaken. Even before Ascension takes place, a sinner improving their lives and feeling good mentally may still impact Rue's hypothetical power. This could really be why Sarah was convinced that the exterminations were a necessary evil. Why Hell's overpopulation crisis is a concern for Heaven. More sinners means more pain, which means more power for Rue. And Charlie's solution to the crisis, the hotel, ensures that Rue will eventually be depleted of her power. Maybe not completely, as not everyone can get redeemed, but she'd experience a pretty significant nerf. Although she still has plenty of evil to feed off of on Earth. As for how the hotel may be an advantage, my idea is admittedly half-baked as we only have so much to go off of, but I think it might be possible for Rue to corrupt the souls of those who ascend to heaven by having them strike deals with those who wield her power, or might be influenced by her in other ways. As I alluded to earlier, the cult that Vox led on Earth might have been worshipping Rue. I think this might have been the case, as again, Martha seems to be in a Rue worshipping cult, and while there'd obviously be more than one cult on Earth, narratively, I think it makes sense for these cults to be one and the same. Plus, we know Vox is powerless without the support of others, and he has a knack for being a bit of a copycat. Vox Tech and Vox himself are the only other entities in hell that feature heavy eye imagery with Vox's hypno eyes, something that's even presented in the company logo. It just wouldn't surprise me if he was some disciple of Rue when he was alive, and that's carried over to his afterlife, although he's discreet about it. Rue would benefit from his plan to conquer heaven, as Vox calling the shots means that evil would finally be able to infiltrate the skies above. And then there's Alastor, whose staff also has a Rue-esque eye on it. His black tentacle magic is a little reminiscent of Rue's tongue appendages and the depiction of evil infiltrating Earth thousands of years ago. We know Alastor got his power from Rosie, but that woman's pretty sketchy herself and definitely seems to be hiding other alliances, given her investment in the hotel and persistence for Alastor to remain employed there. Maybe her power stems from Rue, who Rosie has to answer to at the end of the day. What I'm getting at here is that Rue may ultimately have ownership over Vox and Alastor's souls, as a result of Vox's cult worshipping Rue, and Rue potentially owning Rosie's soul. It's kind of like someone technically working for Disney because they work for Hulu. Then what if that ownership extended to the souls that Vox and Alastor own, the deals that they've made with others? At the very least, could that mean that the dealmaker's soul is tainted with evil? My admittedly convoluted hypothesis is that Rue's hoping that the guests of the hotel will gradually stumble into deals with the likes of Alastor, someone whose power originates from Rue, so that even the tiniest bit of evil will latch onto their souls, and ideally for Rue, persist in their souls after ascension. And one day, with enough redeemed sinners gathered in one place, she'll be able to draw upon the collective remnants of evil in their souls and corrupt heaven from the inside. Or maybe she's banking on post-ascension relapses, sinners hitting a new low once they become angels, and somehow reverting back into their demon forms, infecting heaven in the process. Obviously, we just don't know enough about Rue or the lore to decisively say something like that is for sure possible, but it does feel like the show is setting up the hotel to massively backfire in a way that we couldn't have easily seen coming. As always, these are just my thoughts, and I'd love to hear yours. Be sure to check out Raycon, and shout out to Art for another amazing thumbnail. And if you enjoyed this video, please sure to like and subscribe to the Roundtable. Or don't! You have free will!
The fuck? What the fuck was that?